Hi, welcome back everyone. In this lesson, we're going to interpret the discriminant. The expression b squared minus 4ac in the quadratic formula is called the discriminant. And because the discriminant is under the radical symbol, you can use the value of the discriminant to determine the number of real solutions of a quadratic equation and the number of x-intercepts of the graph of the related function. So the three graphs are shown. The first graph is talking about how there are two real solutions and two x-intercepts if your discriminant is greater than 0. The middle graph is showing if your discriminant is equal to 0, then you have one real solution and one x-intercept. And lastly, if your discriminant is less than 0, you have no real solutions and no x-intercepts. Here's one tip before we move on to determine the number of real solutions. The solutions of a quadratic equation may be real numbers or imaginary numbers. You will study imaginary numbers in the future courses. So for these two questions shown, let's determine the number of real solutions of x squared plus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. I'm going to use the discriminant formula, which I can get from your quadratic formula, which is b squared minus 4ac without your radical. Then what I'm going to do is just substitute all my values of a, b, and c. So 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. And then you just simplify. So 64, 8 squared is 64, plus 12 will equal 76. The discriminant is greater than 0, so the equation has two real solutions. Alright, b. Determine the number of real solutions of 9x squared plus 1 equals 6x. You're going to have to write the equation in the standard form. So I'm going to move over my 6x to the left side. Subtract 6x on both sides, and you get 9x squared minus 6x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then we're going to substitute our values for a, b, and c. A is 9, b is negative 6, and c is equal to 1. So b squared minus 4ac, negative 6 squared, and make sure that the negative 6 is in the parenthesis, minus 4 times 9 times 1. Simplify, you get 36 minus 36, which is equal to 0. So if the discriminant is 0, the equation has one real solution. Next question. Find the number of x-intercepts of the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 9. And what I'm going to do is the same thing. We're going to determine the number of real solutions of 0 equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 9. So I'm going to use b squared minus 4ac. Plug in all the numbers. I get 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times 9, which is equal to 9 minus 72, which is equal to negative 63. Because the discriminant is less than 0, the equation has no real solutions. So let's take out a graphing calculator and plug this equation in to see if there are actually no x-intercepts. So we plug in y1 is equal to 2x squared plus 3x plus 9, and you hit graph. And as you can see, you can also play with the zoom. If it's not in the standard form, I press zoom 6, which is zoom standard. And I got that parabola is right there on top. It's not touching your x-axis, so there's no x-intercepts. That is all for today's lesson. I hope that this made sense. Remember, you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep up the good work. I'll see you in the next lesson.